Howdy folks, I hope everyone is doing well today. I apologize for the traffic noise going by. I hope this directional microphone that I'm using today works. But what I'm here to talk about today, I said I wasn't going to make any videos about this, but it has become so pervasive that I'm just gonna have to. I can't ignore it anymore. And what that is the flat earth. Now, I was trying to ignore it because I figured it was just a small segment of the Torah observant community that was falling into this trap. And, I hate that anybody would fall into it, but there are some people that are just gonna believe things no matter what. Now, this is going to wind up having to take several videos, so I'm not going to get everything into this one video. But the first thing I want to talk about is one of the major arguments that I keep getting from people is I believed a lot of lies that I was taught when I was growing up and when I was still in the church system, and I'm not going to believe this lie anymore. They are lying to us to keep us in darkness. So, in other words, what they're saying is every single thing that they have learned from the time that they were little until the time that Yahweh opened their eyes to Torah, they are going to have to reject it. What they fail to understand, for starters, is that the devil always uses truth as a vehicle to deliver his lies. Think back to the Garden of Eden. He had a long conversation with Eve, and what his trick was to get Eve to telling lies, to repeating things that were not true. So, ultimately, Eve wound up saying that God has told us that we shouldn't eat it and neither should we touch it. That's not what God said. Yahweh said not to eat it. No smudge. Come here, sugar. Here's one of my dogs. Come here, darling. I might be too close to the invisible fence for her. Come here, sugar. Come on. Yep, I am. Anyway, so the devil got Eve to lying about what she had been told. She was saying things that had not been told Adam. But the devil started out just asking questions and speaking a little bit of truth. And yes, the devil is a liar. He was a liar and a murderer from the beginning. But you have to have a sense of reality about you as well. You can't just reject everything that you've ever been told. Now, another thing that I keep asking these flat earthers is, have you yourself ever looked through a telescope? Most of them say no. So, if you've never looked through a telescope, how can you say that there are no other planetary bodies up there? How can you say for certain that there's a glass-like dome that covers a flat earth that has water on the outside of it? Because certainly with a telescope and the right magnification, you would be able to see something like that. Because when water freezes, unless it freezes under very specific conditions, at best it's opaque. It's mostly milky, actually. I mean, how many of you have ever cracked the ice cubes out of the tray and you look in the center of it and there's this starburst of air bubbles and whatnot that's just kind of milky white looking? And that's how ice freezes, or that's how water freezes, and what it looks like as ice. It takes very, very special conditions to make it to where it's translucent, like glass or clear acrylic. You know, clear glass and clear acrylic. But even still, there's a transition layer between ice and water, or glass and water, or anything in water that you can see that, and it actually bends light and refracts light and does all sorts of neat things with it. So unless you've looked through a telescope, you have no basis for comparison anyway. All right, so the next thing is they like to argue that the horizon always rises to eye level. And I apologize, I didn't bring any aids out here with me to demonstrate that with. But they say on a sphere, the horizon always, or my mistake. They say that on the flat earth, the horizon always rises to eye level, but on a sphere, the horizon does not rise to eye level. Okay. How does that prove anything? Because fact of the matter is if you're on a flat disc, and I challenge you to do this, you can take a level and level your eyes across that level. I mean, if you trust levels, of course. But you can take that level and make sure that you're viewing things exactly, perfectly level, standing on the ground, and then climb up a ladder and do the same thing. What you're viewing is not going to be the same thing at the top of the ladder as it is when you're standing on the ground, provided eye level is actually level. But the thing is, the reason the horizon always rises to eye level is because it doesn't. Your eyes change angle. Your eyes change angle depending on what you're focusing on. That's just like you'll see, I don't look at the camera a whole lot. You know, I turn my head, I look at the cars going by, I look at things around me. I have difficulty looking in other folks' eyes, and to me the camera is kind of like an eye. I don't know how to explain it. But you're talking about long distances, so your eye only has to change the angle by very, very small percentage of a degree. You know, here's an example. Look at my two fingers. Which one are you looking at, the top or the bottom? Did you move your head to look at the upper one versus the lower one? Did you move your head at all to change between the two fingers? All right. So, and here's another argument. You know, they throw out this silly thing. They say, well, water doesn't stick to a spinning ball. And then they'll usually take a tennis ball and they'll pour water on it, or they'll dip it in a bucket of water, and then they'll spin it. They'll throw it up and spin it. Whoop, and I'm not very good at it. So let me try that again. All right, you see, I'm not spinning it very fast. See if you can track. Hang on, got more cars going by. I'd rather have a softball because this little tennis ball is hard for me to hold on to. But, see if you can track how this ball spins when I throw it up. How many times did it turn around? I will attempt to slow the video down. I'm still new at editing and whatnot. But what I counted right then, the ball turned around at least 4 or 5 times. That is enough to generate enough centrifugal force to sling whatever water may be stuck in the felt surface out. So figure it in for this demonstration, it would be RPS, revolutions per second. And what I saw, it spun between 4 to 6 times, maybe a time or two more or a time or so less than that. But within that fraction of a second that it was in the air spinning, it spun a few times, right? Well, the Earth spins one complete revolution in 24 hours. So there is a huge difference between the Earth spinning one revolution in 24 hours and a little tennis ball dipped in water spinning around at, we can do the calculation. I'll do it standing here. But figure, all right, my calculator's got to reset. My phone got a operating system update here recently, and ever since then my calculator, it has to close and reopen every single time, even though I close it between usages. So let's just figure it turns 6 times in half a second, so that would be 12 times a second. Okay, so 12 times 60 that's 720 RPM, so that's 720 revolutions per minute. All right, and times another 60, so that would be 43,200 revolutions per hour. All right, now we want to multiply that by 24, right? That would be 1,036,800 revolutions per day. Of course, if the Earth were spinning that fast, it would sling us off. It would sling itself apart if it were spinning that fast. So I'm going to close out here with this. I have some other ideas for some other flat Earth debunking, or some flat Earth science debunking. So there will be at least one other video uploaded about this, probably more over time. I will try to number them, but in the meantime, remember that the devil uses truth as a vehicle for lies, because it's always easier to swallow a lie with the truth. You know, it's like the old song from Mary Poppins, just a spoonful of sugar makes the medicine go down. So just a spoonful of truth makes the lies go down. So just because you learned something in school many, many years ago doesn't mean that it was a lie. As a matter of fact, the globe Earth and the universe that we live in is the truth. But it's the truth that the devil used to sell us old Earth, old universe, Big Bang, evolution, and stuff like that. So if you seek Yahweh, he will lead you to the truth. But if you go into it looking for what you think already is, then you can't hear the truth when he tells it to you or points it out to you. It just, that's the way it works. I mean, anybody that goes into something with a preconceived idea, they're going to come out of it with the preconceived idea, and they're going to learn nothing. I know, because I have spent most of my life doing just that very simple thing. Smudge, come on. Come on, girl. Smudge. That was her tennis ball. That's why I'm out here with my gloves on. I didn't want to. It's been rained on and in her mouth and dirty, and I'm sure it has rolled through a pile or two of dog leavings. But, you know, I hope that if any flat earthers watch this video, that you have kept an open mind through it. And I am not condemning you. I'm not picking on you. I'm not trying to make you feel little or stupid or anything else. But I don't work for NASA. I've never worked for NASA. I actually do have something that used to belong to NASA, but my stepdad gave that to me, and I kept a little NASA tag off of it. I've long since thrown the device away. I don't even remember what it was. It was something related to computers. I have myself looked through my very own telescope, and Yahweh willing, I am going to be getting me another high-powered telescope in the near future, I hope, at which time I will start taking video and photographs. Well, I say photographs, there'll be digital pictures of the different celestial bodies myself, not for NASA, not for anyone else. And there's going to be no way that anybody can fake anything. So, like I said, I've got some ideas for some other flat earth debunking videos that I'll be making over the course of time. And I apologize for it having been so long since I've uploaded something of any kind. Other than that, remember Proverbs 18:13 that says, "A man that answereth a matter before he heareth it, it is shame and folly unto him." Or another way to say it is what I said a while ago. If you come into something with a preconceived idea, then you've already decided what you want the outcome to be, so you're not going to gain anything. And that's not to say that your preconceived idea is wrong, but preconceptions blind us to only being able to see the preconception. The next thing the next two scriptures are pretty self-explanatory. One of them is Acts chapter 17, verses 10 and 11, that says the Bereans were more noble than the Thessalonians because the Bereans would listen to the preacher preach, or the rabbi preach or teach, or, however you want to paraphrase it. But they would go home and search the scriptures out every day to make sure that what the rabbi or the teacher or the preacher was telling them the truth. And the next one is like unto it. 2 Timothy chapter 2 verse 15 that says, "Study to show yourself approved." There's more to it than that. You can go look it up. Other than that, I hope to see each and every one of you in the kingdom of heaven. Yahweh bless.